How's it going, fellow dipsticks? Come on, let's take a joyride to Hazzard County. Cause today we're revisiting the Duke boys. What's happening? Let's slide across the hood of the General Lee and nail down 10 reasons why we all love the Dukes of Hazzard.
Happy birthday, Daisy.
Why, thank you, Anna.
You know the rascals I'm talking about? The good old boys. Well, I'll let Waylon Jennings take it from here. The Dukes of Hazzard avoided the law and racked up some impressive ratings from 1979 until its final season in '85. This show was so successful partly because, yes, although they were troublemakers and bend the law at times,
This your money?
It is now.
the show itself was a clean and funny ride that the entire family could partake in every Friday night.
This just ain't our day.
And the Dukes of Hazzard was a welcome comedic relief on CBS. And with a wonderful cast, tremendous car chases, and the cutest gal in the shortest shorts.
I'm having a picnic. Which way to the beach?
It's no secret why this show raced ahead of the pack. If you enjoy our Duke episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel so we can always tell you what happened. Number 1. Dukes vs. Boss Hogg. This unending feud between the Dukes and Boss Hogg was a lifeline for the show.
Now, wait a minute, boss. Now, Uncle Jesse can't afford that, and you know it.
Of course not.
Of course, Boss Hogg had his main gopher, Mr. Sheriff Roscoe Coltrane.
You don't have to worry about it, boss. I tell you, I got everything under control. In fact, it's a lot better than I thought.
Calling everyone dipsticks when the biggest of them was, of course, Roscoe himself.
You're a dipstick. A 14-karat dipstick.
And Boss Hogg was one of those characters that you like to dislike.
Fight in the American way. Fight for the American mountains, the American valleys, and the green American hills of home.
He was the greedy town commissioner who made everyone's life more difficult, especially since he was Bo and Luke's probation officer. Did you know that Boss Hogg's character contract had an interesting stipulation? Sorrel Book instructed the show that he wouldn't play the character if drugs or murder were involved. So the show's writers made sure to steer clear of those no-nos, and it further helped keep the show clean for so many years. An action show the whole family could enjoy. But if you ask me, Boss Hogg was still pretty rotten, even all dressed in his pristine white getup.
Hey, Red, look what you did to me.
And one final tip of the cap to Sheriff Roscoe, because his chase scenes flying after the Duke boys were so iconic. That poor guy never got it right, but it was sure fun to watch. Number 2, a happy accident. The heroic hood slide that we all know and love. And of course have also tried ourselves in our own front driveway. Well, that gorgeous move almost never happened. It was never planned. Tom Wopat intended to leap over the hood, but when rehearsing the episode, the grass he was running on was damp. So when he went to leap, his cowboy boots slipped, and he took flight, accidentally skidding across the hood instead. To add insult to badassery, the car's antenna gave him a forever keepsake from this show, as it cut his arm and he still has a nice scar to prove it. That is one heck of a dinner party story if I've ever heard one. So who out there wanted to be a Duke boy growing up? Be honest, have you ever tried the hood slide? Please add any and all Duke memories in the comments below. We want to hear some fun stories. Number 3, Daisy Duke. I think most boys in the 70s and most people with a pulse had a crush on Daisy Duke.
Can't you find it in your big, warm heart to not give my poor little cousins a nasty, nasty ticket?
Truly an icon that brought attention to this show. A fun story about those iconic Daisy Duke shorts. The denim costume piece that we all came to love. Well, it also wasn't originally supposed to be in the show.
Hey, my name is Daisy, and I want to be a star.
Producers asked Catherine Bach to pick out a miniskirt similar to what the waitresses at a nearby diner wore. Changing that to a pair of denim shorts was entirely Bach's idea. $1 million idea. Speaking of $1 million, that's how much Catherine Bach's legs were insured for during the run of the show. Number 4, True Moonshine. The Dukes of Hazzard was loosely based on a true story about a 12-year-old boy who ran a moonshine business in North Carolina. When he was old enough, he bought a car that was fast enough to outrun the police. And this bold kid was the inspiration for Guy Waldron's movie, 1975's Moonrunner.
And we're gonna roll right over you.
After Moonrunners, Waldron was percolating about a TV show around the similar theme, aka the Dukes of Hazzard, and he had some help with the Hazzard County resident, Cooter himself, Ben Jones, who had a small role in the Moonrunners film, and in turn was the first actor cast in Dukes.
So the FBI is following Daisy. Well, why don't y'all follow the FBI, and then you'll find Daisy.
There were some pretty big changes. The General Lee didn't have a nozzle that ejects oil to ambush incoming vehicles. And while they both featured comedy, Moonrunners was a bit more grittier. But all of the characters from both projects are based off people Guy grew up with. Number 5, Presidential Love. The Dukes of Hazzard was a show everyone loved, even first ladies. Enter Shirley Moore. Catherine Bach's grade school teacher, who eventually went on to work in the White House. Well, Bach had sent Shirley a Dukes of Hazzard poster, and she in turn became the envy of the White House. The poster wound up being framed and hung in the West Wing, with a presidential request for more posters to be sent to DC, courtesy of Nancy Reagan. Number 6, Cooter's charm. You never knew what Cooter might do next. He was always helping out the Duke boys. But what's really cool is that you can visit all things Dukes of Hazzard at Cooter's chain called Cooter's Place. The chain was opened by Ben Jones and his wife, as Ben famously played Cooter on the show. There are locations in Pigeon Forge, Luray, and Nashville. And just check out their website to see who from the cast is planning to make a visit. Tom Wopat, aka Luke Duke, is no stranger to Cooter's Place.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Number 7, Vroom Vroom. The General Lee, the infamous bright orange 1969 Dodge Charger that everyone loved and so badly dreamt of driving. I mean, let's be honest, this was the real star of the show. But the car has caused some controversy in years past, as the Confederate flag was brightly painted on the top of the car, and some people find this racist, offensive, and inappropriate.
Very offensive. First thing on the list, I have a whole list of things I want to do to this car, is paint over this flag.
I mean, when Walmart stops selling something like they have, it does not bode well for inclusivity. But this car was so popular that it even received its own fan mail. 35,000 letters per month to be exact. Too bad it wasn't Kit from Knight Rider. Kit would have written back. This car will forever be one of the most iconic cars in television history, maybe only eclipsed by the Batmobile. So we want to know, get in the comments and tell us, is the General Lee, Kit, or the Batmobile the most iconic car in TV history? And over 7 seasons, the production team went through a lot of General Lees. There were around 200 cars used in the show. Because you saw the jumps, they all got smashed up. At least 1 car per episode got destroyed. But if totaling a car meant that we got to see those flying stunts, well, that's a sacrifice I am willing to make. But we do tip our cap to that production staff who was basically looking for the next General Lee every single day. Number 8, Family Love. Luke and Bo Duke were cast as the good old boys, and family was important to them as they fought against the system. Hazzard County was viewed as a simpler place, and that's why we all loved it. It was a break from reality. Ironically, the chairman at CBS hated the series, and repeatedly and very publicly said that Dukes was a lousy show. Okay, step aside, sir. Number 9, The Formula. The plots were simple, easy to follow, but featured wholesome lessons that everyone needed. It was seen as a counterpoint to the extreme political culture of the 60s and 70s. A TV show with wholesome values was a welcome respite to the corruption taking place in politics at the time. And boy did we all love rooting for the Dukes each week. Number 10, more iterations, more Dukes. People in the 80s loved the Duke family so much, they all welcomed a Saturday morning cartoon spinoff called The Dukes that was created in 1983.
No trouble, they just wanna play.
20 episodes were made in total, and then the cartoon was canceled. And I know some people didn't like the plot where the Dukes had to win a race to save their farm. And then of course CBS made the 2 Dukes of Hazzard reunion films, one in '97 and one in 2001. And these films were not very well received, but the extreme fans still loved them. And generally, everyone loved the original TV show. But most fans of the franchise actively hated the movie remake in 2005. To be blunt, the movie was a total flop. Many of the original actors did make some cameos, but have also stated that the movie attempt failed to capture the original purpose of the show, claiming it was too sleazy and crude, and going further, stating that it was an insult to the Dukes. But Ben Jones did state that the car stunts were still pretty cool. So what did you think? Was the 2005 film that bad? Or did it have its moments? Come on, let's toast to the Dukes of Hazzard. Why did you watch the show back in the 80s? Whose career have you followed since? Did you have a favorite episode of the Dukes of Hazzard? Get in the comments and you let us know. If you don't mind, give this Dukes video a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel so you never miss a release. Come back soon so we can always tell you
what happened?